black empty of white, you know, the black empty of green, everything. You know, you are empty of everybody. So that kind of, you know, like lower emptiness or Zhentong. That's all you can say Zhentong, but it's not the Zhentong, real Zhentong, the ultimate Zhentong, but it's still Zhentong. So then I say there's nothing exists, something is not, as long as samsara, then as long as relative truth, there's nothing exists, something is not self-empty, which means all of relative truth, samsara, or empty self. So that means as long as the ultimate, as long as the absolute, then cannot be empty self. Everything is have to be not empty self. If you understand these three things, then you never confuse. Ada say that. And then if you don't think that way, and if you think true truth is equally self-empty, if you think that, then in that case, then true truth, both of true truth is only illusion. The absolute truth also illusion as equal of samsara. You know, so that happened. That is you have to agree. In that case, Rzuksha, Sogni, Rzumdishkirniso, so in that case, you accumulation, you're married 3 eons or whatever, countless eons or whatever, all this, and the result of the 4 kayas, 3 kayas, whatever you call, that's all contradicted. So then the temporary and the ultimate, all true existence is become mess. That's what I'm saying. Then I say megg tutor yonmen men dance. Megg means the mostly Gelupa's view called non-feminine negative. Tutor is free from extremes, or not extremes, free from a liberation, not liberation, elaboration. Free from elaboration is mainly for Sakyava's view. Yonmen men means not exist, non-exist, blah, 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 blah. That's quite good main language. Korndi Nyamnyit, also Sakyava's language, so that many others as well. You know, before you said, you know, this samsara and nirvana equal, non-contradiction. Kondi nyamnyit. And then killing kuntar means you not agree in anything at all. You have no position. That's also one other way of Madhyamika experts. Then Sartung. Sartung means the union of the luminosity and emptiness. That is mostly Sakya. Richtung means the union of emptiness and Rigpa. That's Dzogchen Base and Nyamaba mostly. Chernang Koni Nam Jatsang Sartung Richtung La So Kaporna. So Kapo means you know, you kind of like Boston. You are very proud about saying these things, you know, using these words. These all kaponam, chernang koni nam jaktam. All of them, doesn't matter how you are proud, it is illusion, all of them. Because the fundamental your position is everything empty to self, everything is essenceless. That's what I'm saying. If it's essenceless, then it's only illusion. I'm using the best language. Everybody, the most proud things. I'm using those. So so the emptiness and the appearances, union, and that's another language. And there's no mention. So Kagilpa's more point of view say appearances not obstacle, no problem. Only grasping is a problem. Tarti Hirik. So Nyamaba's more present view, the present Rigpa, you don't do anything, just leave them alone. Nam tok churku. So some others say this thought conception itself is Dharmakaya. And you don't need do anything. They already liberate themselves. Sounds familiar? I said all these claiming incredible high view languages. It is actually some methods of meditation. So what I'm saying is, if you use those things and is incredible view, then I'm kind of disagreeing. But I'm agreeing this all is not non-beneficial. I agree it is beneficial of some patterns of methods of meditation. So I see them as like more path or practices, not like you establish in view. If you establish in view, then you have many problems. But if you use them as methods, that's okay. You can use, temporarily. So that's I'm saying. So it is, I agree, some beneficial to the meditation in that way. But this one, if you named the ultimate truth, that's only poetic words. So this may attract some seeking for liberation. But eventually you have to abandon this. So from along the path. Then I say, Xamdan marchit chulan tartuk mit, Dzokden tawi geranga dongiktan. So which means, the Torpoba and they making this Zhentong point of view is called completion, golden age dharma. So the others, quarter, some of them quarter right, some of them half right, some of them two-thirds right, or 3/4 right. So I say the maximum 3/4 right. All of them from the maximum 3/4 right. There is no ultimate truth. That means they not really understood the ultimate truth. Therefore, if you want a golden age point of view, this Dham is here. So, if you are fortunate enough, then I present in this. So, all the Buddhas and bodhisattvas and sages, please help to understand other people. So I try to push button a little bit, not with bad motivation. But if you push button a little bit, then sometimes people prepare, make effort. But if you don't push button, then sometimes people lazy and don't make effort. That's all. It sounds controversial, or it's okay?
I can't wait for the English and yes.
So now I want to tell you a little bit like what is the problem if you say everything is self-empty. I'm talking about, remember I said practice is okay. I said remember practice should be fun. Maybe makes a little bit different, slow or fast. But that doesn't huge matter as long as you are the right direction. So even you understand the Zhentong Majjhimika, you are still right direction. No problem. But I said communication level is some problem in my point of view. That's I want to ask you. When you know, everybody is seeking enlightenment, right? So there is nobody, as long as Dharma practitioner, probably nobody like not enlightened. So that means that everybody is seeking for enlightenment. So what is enlightenment really is? If everything is self-empty, then enlightenment also have to be self-empty. Self-empty means you have to understand very simple way. Don't make complicated. Means not exist. So that means you want aiming for nothing. You want, all your practices, all effort becomes aimless. The result is nothingness. Do you feel comfortable with this? I mean, like philosophically. If yes, then no problem. Stick with this. Stick with nothingness and make huge effort. Make huge accumulation merit and aiming for nothingness. Then it's no problem. You are free from problem. So when we say everything is self-empty, the two truths both equally self-empty, the Buddha nature also self-empty and not inherently exist. To me, logic is that. It's very simple. I think sometimes we make complicated and then we lost in this. But it's quite simple. But if you disheartened, feels disheartened, you aim for nothingness, eons merit, everything, you will nothing, you get nothing. You don't have four kayas, you don't have, countless emanations to liberate sentient beings. You have no problem to motivate bodhicitta, then no problem. But I have problem with this, myself. I want have the four bodies of Buddha. I want limitless, innumerable manifestations to liberate all sentient beings forever. So that is for me is encourageable. You aim for nothingness, essenceless is It's not very encourageable. But if anybody, no problem, still is encourageable, I think that's okay then, no problem. You know, but you make sure you're not numb. You know, sometimes anything is no problem for you, is we call numbness. As long as you are not numb, you are still is sensitive, you are still alive, you are still is encouraged, you still is inspired, then is you aim for nothingness. Okay.
I thought they would say that it's not that nothing exists, it's just the nature of the existence is.
There is no nature. Nothingness cannot have nature.
Okay, so the mode of existence is interdependent.
You twist in languages, you know.
Okay, so
when people say this is emptiness is not nothingness, but that kind of, you know, like is you twist in language.
well,
so
what I say is not.
So we know is empty means we know our human language. We know empty means not there. You know, and then. When that's why it makes sense, you know, like the ultimate truth, the empty of other, then makes sense. But if you say empty itself, then it's okay, then it's not there. So enlightenment not there, the four kayas not there, nothing there. Otherwise, you have to twist the language. You have to say, empty means not nothingness. That's usually people say. Why they say this? Because they cannot hold the position using the real language. So then you have to twist the language. You have to interpret something extra and labor on. Emptiness is. Some people say, empty is empty, but emptiness is not nothingness. Something like that. So you can understand this way. But is twist language. Something you don't need twist language is make very clear is better to me. So you tell. What do you want to say? Something not twist in language.
Well, yeah, because the other way they say is the mode is not like. Everything doesn't mean not exist, it's just the mode existence is interdependent. So that means they exist in illusory life. It could be perpetual, for a long time, could be permanent, but it is interdependent. That's what they said, another emptiness. And
interdependent and emptiness, and you say permanent or impermanent?
Well, because it could be like perpetuating. Depend on each other, like the co-arising together, dependent on each other.
Each other, which each other? You said each other, you have to say two things. You lost. You lost because of twist languages. When you twist the language all the time, you're very easy to lost. Okay, when I say this, what do you say? Can you aim in for nothingness? Can you do that? Can you work 7 days, no pay? Can you do that? Can you dedicate a whole life, nobody appreciate? Can you do that? If you can, there is nothing wrong. But when the enlightenment is like a self-empty, is more than that. We just dedicated our work, job, family, distance very small compare, you dedicate your life for enlightenment. So if somebody say, okay, no problem, I have problem with, if I dedicate on my family, I dedicate on my company, anything, but I have no result, nothing, no problem. If you have problem, then you definitely have problem. You 3 countless eons, 33 countless eons, you dedicate. You want to liberate such beings, right? But you have nothing. So tomorrow I explain this Heart Sutra. You guys may be familiar with Heart Sutra, right? Mm-hmm. So tomorrow we try to explain what Dharanatha said differently. And he tried to explain and in Zhentong. So many people think the most hardest in explaining Zhentong is the Heart Sutra. Why? Because Heart Sutra belongs to the second Dharma way. But many of the Jonang-Shambhalas, Zhentong-Shambhalas, they agree the second Dharma way is more commentary for the Rangtong point of view. And Nagarjuna's 6 treatises is more explanation for the second Dharma way. So that's why much more suitable for the Rangtong point of view. But Nagarjuna's praise on the Dharma Dhatu, or this praise is different. Is much more gentle. So that's why Zhentong-Shambhalas agreeing with Nagarjuna, no problem. Because remember, the Rangtong is a process of the Zhentong realization. So that's why all 6 treatises, most of majority refer to the Rangtong, no problem. Chantakriti's commentaries all emphasize on the Rangtong, no problem. But did you notice that even some people, even Nagarjuna's 6 treatises, not all of them 100% is Rangtong. It's still some people interpret it on the Zhentong way. So the second Dharma way also similar. Not 100% is the Rangtong. So that's why Dharanatha, something from the second Dharma category, more Rangtong emphasized from the Heart Sutra. He interpreted on Gyatso way. So that very interesting. We talk about tomorrow. So, did you guys have Dharanatha's commentary? Yes. And if you guys don't have, they are in the internet, Google. You can go home and print it. If you have printer, then you can bring tomorrow. But you don't need it. You don't really need it. Or you can bring it in a computer, your electronic, or on the phone. Or you don't need it. You don't need copy. I'm just saying, if you like. Then we going to discuss a little bit. And also, you go tonight, try to think of on the way when you driving, and can bring anything, your thoughts. Put on the table tomorrow. Tomorrow we read the Heart Sutra and then we discuss. Do you like this way, today way? More discussion way?
Yes.
Yes.
If you not prefer that, then I'll talk tomorrow all day. What do you think? If you say, yeah, the main important, just try to think about this. If the two truth is equally independent, inherently not exist, both self-empty, essenceless, then why we try to realize ultimate truth? We already perfectly found the relative truth. There are no differences. Both is interdependent. Both is impermanent. As long as independent and impermanent, then that means this is the nature of the suffering. So we already have the relative truth. So for what reason we seeking for ultimate truth? Why we seeking for nirvana? Because nirvana itself is interdependent. Again, give me answer for tomorrow. You got it? That's simple?
Okay.
Or you can say something you find not nature of suffering, but still impermanent, interdependent, relative. Oh, you can't say relative, yeah? You claim it ultimate truth. So then what is the definition of the ultimate truth, absolute truth? Huh? Yeah. We don't have a duty. We don't have duty or obligation, anything about we have to stick with the Zhentong. You know? Whatever makes sense, we just agree with that. This is not about obligation or duty or, agreements or anything. We just expressing what kind of logic, what kind of, Of course, I am Janthoma, yes. But you don't have to agree with me at all. We didn't have contract, we didn't have sign, nothing. I can be Janthoma tomorrow if you challenge enough to me. Tomorrow evening I'm become Janthoma. I'm Janthoma, it cannot be permanent. But right now, yes, all right. Also, I'm not looking for support. I'm not looking for support. I'm looking for challenges. Why I'm looking for challenges? Because then we know is this view and this is is really indefeatable or is it defeatable? So Stephen today gave me some challenges that are quite good, but not enough to defeat it yet. Bring more tomorrow. But it's good challenges. Yeah. So we have no grasping is better. Anything you want to say? Anything else? I want a casual way, today. Did we do casual way?
Yeah,
Huh?
that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good when we do questions,
Yeah.
because then it's less pretending and more opportunity to learn exactly where we are.
Is anybody completely new in this topic? New? 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 You new? Really?
Right in the deep end.
I mean topic new for Madhyamika. Okay, nobody's absolutely new. Okay, that's good.
Okay. So is that the more I sound like, is it Zhentong similar to mind only in some, because the way the three nature and the mind only talk about mind, but in the Zhentong talk about primordial mind, right? So how is this? Can you clarify how is it that Zhentong is not Chittamani? Because it's
I give you
some
two
way-
options.
Two way that it's in some way that it's similar, but maybe the similarity, I'm not sure. I see obviously not.
I give you two options.
Okay.
And Taranatha say, Zhentong is lost because they don't have core doctrine. They do not have core doctrine, he said. Do you know who is Taranatha? Anybody don't know Taranatha? Or you all know? Taranatha is not just one guy. He also not just a Tibetan great master. He is not just a Tibetan great master. He is quite, exceptional. It is one simple example. He wrote Buddha's story. Is not unlike any other Tibetan masters wrote. And nowadays, matching everything, even Sri Lankan Theravada wrote it, is matched. He never came to India. And he wrote Dharma History India, and nowadays everybody rely on that, even Indians. So he knew something more than Indians know. And when you come to the Tantrayana, he wrote so many things for every tradition, not for only Jonang tradition. He wrote for everybody. Include Gelugpa. Many of them are relying on this now. You've given, many tantric empowerments and commentaries. He is really treasure of the Tantra in Tibet. So that's why sometimes they didn't know Taranatha is a Jonang-pa or he's something else. But I think he made one somewhere is very clear. His view is 100%. He agree with Tolpopa. Tolpopa, that means that 100% Zhentongpa. So, he's saying that the Zhentong was lost because they don't have a core doctrine. That's why they taken from everywhere. The Madhyamika, Pasangika, the Sotantika. When they try to establish the ultimate truth, they rely on these Indian Madhyamikas, and then when they establish into the relative truth, they try to mostly they rely on this Vibhashika and Satantrika, the lower Buddhist schools. So that's why he's very, very many things wrong, because the lower schools, and they try to match with the Madhyamika. He said that's was no good. And he said the Zhentong has core doctrine. Core doctrine means someone almost like Buddha gave the commentary of the Zhentong. He said that's why Jonang-Shambhala, he said Jonang-Shambhala is have core doctrine is for the Buddha material. So Buddha material, you know, Bodhisattva material is 10th level of Bodhisattva, and he is the region of the Buddha Shakyamuni. And he gave the direct commentary to the Asanga. So Asanga, usually Nagarjuna is very, well known. Asanga is similar of Nagarjuna. So that's why they call two excellences, Asanga and Nagarjuna. But who has direct teaching from the Buddha material is Asanga, is not Nagarjuna. So Jonang-Shambhala is the core teaching is that, relying on that. Like Abhisama Alankara and the little bit lower teachings, they, you know, like or other traditions, even Gelugpa, and they study this extensively. But the high ones, you know, like Chunyin Namjit and Gil Lama, these ones, they have Jonang-Shambhala have special transmission from directly Buddha material to the Gangameti is one of the Jonang-Shambhala's lineage holder. So that's why they believe this one is, that's why they say the Jonang-Shambhala's commentary is much more correct than the other commentaries. So that's the they say. So not contradict with Nagarjuna, and direct teaching with Asanga. And short lineage come from Buddha material directly to Gangameti. So Gangameti means like 11th century. So that's why, that's why they believe is superior. So that's Taranatha say. Taranatha, nobody disagrees Taranatha. Nobody. Okay. So we can read His Holiness's long life prayer today. We have the fortune have Dharma discussion today. This is a huge merit. We dedicate his long life and the success, great activities. We did on this, okay?
To you, host of current and lineage time gurus, as a dance of illusion-like emanations possessing the three hidden factors of Vajra, body, speech, and mind, of innumerable triumphant ones, leaving out nothing, you arise in whatever matters are needed for the taming of others. You are wish-granting gems, the source of everything constructive and excellent in compulsive existence and peaceful nirvana. To you, with fervent yearning, we make our request. Bestow waves of uplifting strength and inspiration for the lifespan of Tenzin Gyatso, guardian of the land of snows, to remain stable for hundreds of eons without ever depleting, and for all his wishes and aims to be spontaneously fulfilled. To all you hosts of Yidam deities arising in countless supporting mandalas with their supported figures, a cloud of illusory forms of immaculate, greatly blissful, deep awareness, manifesting everywhere throughout the expanse of the sphere of reality that allows for everything to appear. To you, with reverent yearning, we make our request. Bestow waves of uplifting strength and inspiration for the lifespan of Tenzin Gyatso, guardian of the land of snows, to remain stable for hundreds of eons without ever depleting, and for all his wishes and aims to be spontaneously fulfilled. To all you innumerable triumphant Buddhas throughout the three times, endowed with 10 forces, lords of the gods, through his for all his wishes and aims to be spontaneously fulfilled. To the host of the three vehicles, hallowed Dharma, with the glory of being unstained, unwavering, totally excellent, and to be spontaneously fulfilled. To all your social members, your states of realized awareness and liberation. You have the deep awareness that straightforwardly fathoms the meaning of deepest truth, which has provided you the great courage to smash through the machinations of your compulsive existence and become inseparable from the Vajra citadel of liberation. To you, with reverent yearning, we make our request. Bestow waves of uplifting strength and inspiration for the lifespan of Tenzin Gyatso, guardian of the land of snows, to remain stable for hundreds of eons without ever depleting, and for all his wishes and aims to be spontaneously fulfilled. To you, host of Viras and Dakinis of the three abodes, through your play of sporting in hundreds of modes of voidness and bliss in Kachari Pure Land, in the sacred sites, locations, and charnel grounds, you help to actualize the excellent pathway minds of the yogas. To you, with reverent yearning, we make our request. Bestow waves of uplifting strength and inspiration for the lifespan of Tenzin Gyatso, guardian of the land of snows, to remain stable for hundreds of eons without ever depleting, and for all his wishes and aims to be spontaneously fulfilled. To you, ocean of guardians of the teachings, endowed with the eyes of deep awareness, wearing inseparably on the matted hair on your heads a knot as a seal, signifying your pledge to Vajradhara. You have the strength and power to protect the teachings and those who uphold them. To you, with reverent yearning, we make our request. Bestow waves of uplifting strength and inspiration for the lifespan of Tenzin Gyatso, guardian of the land of snows, to remain stable for hundreds of eons without ever depleting, and for all his wishes and aims to be spontaneously fulfilled. By the force of our heartfelt request, made with reverent yearning and respect in this way, to you, supreme sources of non-misleading safe direction, may Ngawang Losong Tenzin Gyatso, the sole guardian for the wandering beings of the land of snows, ourselves and others, plagued by the inseparable torments and pains of these degenerate times, remain for hundreds of eons, permanently stable, unwaveringly seated on the throne of the indestructible, imperishable Vajra essence, with his three hidden factors of Vajra, body, speech, and mind, never declining, never altering, and never setting like the sun. May his wishes be spontaneously fulfilled as intended with great waves of enlightening influence, having the essence of a wish-granting gem to benefit all. From his having courageously taken on his shoulders the responsibility to further the deeds of all the innumerable triumphant ones. And by the force of that, may embodied beings be forever liberated into a springtime of rest and recovery from their fatigue, the gateway to the open space of an excellent eon, a fully golden age. And may the positive signs of the Able One's teachings, flourishing throughout all directions and times, extend to the peaks of compulsive existence and peaceful nirvana. May a stream of nectar of the uplifting inspiration of Padmapani, you, the lotus in hand, bring maturity forever to the fortitude of heart of ourselves and others, and from serving him well with offerings and practice in accord with his enlightening words, may we complete an ocean of totally excellent superlative deeds. By the force and power of the uplifting inspiration of the triumphant Buddhas, together with their wondrous spiritual offspring, and by the non-misleading truth of dependent arising, as well as by our pure exceptional resolve, may all the aims of our prayers be easily and quickly fulfilled.
Oh, thank you. Do we have Shambhala?
Not with,
Tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 days off. Tomorrow we read Shambhala.
General dedication?
Yes.
By all these virtuous deeds of accumulated merit, may all beings be rescued from the ocean of samsara, where the tide of aging, sickness, and death is violently active. May this merit help all beings attain Buddhahood and be victorious over all the enemies of deceptive obscurations. By the goodness of what I have just done, may all beings complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom and gain the two sacred bodies. In future lives, may I never be separated from my glorious Lama. May I never be separated from the joy of practicing the precious Dharma. May I accomplish all the enlightened Buddhi levels and paths and attain the Buddhahood of Vajradhara. As long as space endures, as long as beings exist, may I remain and expel their sorrows until they reach Buddhahood. May the precious view of the emptiness of interdependence arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious Dharma be respected and remain in this world, the only medicine and cure for suffering. The source of all happiness is the sacred Dharma. By the power of the three bodies of the Buddhas, the immutable truth of the Dharma, and by the power of the inseparable union of the Sangha, may all our wishes be fulfilled. Through the ultimate view of the sutras, the great Madhyamika of the Zhentong Middle Way, and the ultimate view of the Tantras, the indestructible 6 yogas and Kalachakra Tantra, may the glorious Jonang tradition flourish. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and joy. Glorious Tenzin Gyatso Tenreji, please remain until samsara ends. Shar Khentrul Jamphel Lodrö, mind of love and compassion, peaceful and gentle in nature, field of manifold appearances, glorious and powerful, great mind of limitless depth, ocean-like treasury, sublime counsel, guiding all beings in a manner suiting their needs. Unification of the three trainings, faith, diligence, and concentration, priceless vitality, courageously manifesting the confidence of wisdom and compassion, creator of peace and harmony, please remain upon your Vajra throne. May your